Hi everyone and welcome to Señor's Spanish course, Lesson 2. I put a link here to Lesson 1 in case you didn't see it. We're going to be doing about 2 lessons a week, so thanks for watching and make sure you subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any of the lessons. Alright, let's get started. Today we're going to be learning about origin, our place of origin, age, and numbers. So let's do it. Ya sabemos. Okay, ya sabemos, it means we already know. So what do we already know? Ya sabemos. Ya sabemos el alfabeto español. That was in the introductory video. Ya sabemos saludar a la gente. So we know how to say hello to people. Ya sabemos despedirnos. We know how to say goodbye. Ya sabemos presentarnos. So we know how to introduce ourselves, tell our names. So today, where you're from. It's simple enough. You just say soy de and then the place. So, soy de los Estados Unidos, soy de Canadá, soy de Florida, soy de Miami, soy de Chicago. So it's just soy de and then the place. So, soy, I am, de is from, and then the place. So it's just like in English, soy de los Estados Unidos. I'm from the United States. Okay, lugares, that means places. So, if you're going to say where you're from, you're going to need to know some place names. I've put a few up here. So, we've got Los Estados Unidos, that's the United States. And then the states themselves are pretty much the same. A few of them have some spelling changes. And then I've put up here the ones that change a lot, and that's usually because they have a word like new or south or something, so that those words get translated. So, Nueva York, that's New York. And people in Latin America, they really love New York City, so if you say Nueva York, they're going to assume you mean New York City. So if you're from Albany or something like that, you might want to specify that you're from Albany. Nueva Jersey, New Jersey. Nuevo Mexico, Nuevo Hampshire, which that's one of the rare cases in Spanish when that H gets pronounced, and that's because it's a foreign word, so they do pronounce the H there. Dakota del Norte, Dakota del Sur are, of course, North and South Dakota. Carolina del Norte, Carolina del Sur, and then those are the Carolinas, and then West Virginia is Virginia Occidental. So, if you are from those places, one of those places, you should memorize, the name of your state. Otherwise, it's going to be the same pretty much. Like, if you're from Oregon, you can say, soy de Oregon. They're going to know what you mean. They would say something like, they would say soy de Oregon, so the pronunciation gets changed a little bit, but nothing significant, so you can just say where you're from in English if that's easier for you. Canada, so notice that final A gets stressed in Canada. It's Canada, and I've put a few of the provinces that whose names changed significantly as well. So Columbia Britannica, that's British Columbia. Nueva Scotia is Nova Scotia. Nuevo Brunswick, that's New Brunswick. Isla del Príncipe Eduardo, that's Prince Edward Island. And then Terra Nova y Labrador, that's Newfoundland and Labrador. So the rest are all the same. Alberta, Manitoba, etc. El Reino Unido, so that's the United Kingdom. And I put the 4 different parts there. We have Inglaterra, which is England. Escocia is Scotland. Gales, that's Wales. So that's something you're going to see a lot in Spanish, is that some words that start with a W that'll get changed to a G in Spanish. So Gales. And then Irlanda del Norte is Northern Ireland. Irlanda is Ireland. Australia is Australia. And Nueva Zelanda, or Nueva Zelanda, is New Zealand, of course. So those are kind of the main English-speaking countries. So they're good to know, those 6 countries, and then just know your state and or your province, if you're from a state or a province. And then it's good to know those Inglaterra and Escocia and Gales. So memorize that too. And then cities are going to be the same pretty much. They might change slightly, but you can just say your city in English: Chicago, Miami, etc. Okay, so how do you ask? Where are you from? So just like anytime you're talking to someone in Spanish, remember we have 2 different ways of saying it. They are the formal and the informal way. So we have ¿De dónde eres? Or ¿De dónde es usted? So, judging from the past times that we've talked about these formal and informal, do you know which one would be the informal way of saying it? It would be eres. That's the informal way to say you are. So the first one is the informal. ¿De dónde eres? ¿De dónde es usted? Is formal. So which of those words do you think means where? All right, well, let's look at it. So de, do you remember what de is? From. There, donde is where. From where are you? So you see the word order gets switched around in Spanish. So, in English, they tell us that we're not supposed to end a sentence in a preposition, and almost everybody does it in English. So, where are you from? The preposition is at the end of the sentence. But in Spanish, you can't, and they don't. They actually follow that rule. So, that's why de is the from gets put in front. So, de donde eres? From where are you? All right, edades, so ages. So, saying your age in Spanish is a little bit different than in English, because in English we'll say, like, I am 15 years old. Well, in Spanish, instead of, being a year, so instead of being 12 years old, you have years. You have 12 years. So they say tengo, that means I have. Then you put in your number of years. And then años means years. So, sometimes you hear that from a Spanish speaker who's speaking in English. They'll say something like, oh, I have 19 years or something like that. And that's because they're just translating it directly. And just like it sounds strange to us to hear someone say, I have that many years, it sounds weird if you say it like, oh, soy 19. Like that's sounds weird to them. Doesn't so they would say have. You have to use tango. So it's tango 15 años, however many años you have. So we're going to talk about numbers in a little bit, just so that you know what to say there. So here we go. Yeah, tango. I have. Then the number, and then años. That means years. Okay, so asking how old you are, asking how old someone is. So so for that, you're gonna say, what do you think? You're gonna say, how many years do you have? That's what you're gonna be saying. So because remember they say they have years. They don't. It's not I am 17. I have 17. So you're gonna ask them how many years they have. So just like everything, we have a formal and an informal way. And which one do you think is the formal way? Yeah, it's the second one. So remember I said that if it's the informal verbs will usually end in an S. So the tienes, that is the informal way of speaking. So ¿cuántos años tienes? Or ¿cuántos años tiene? So how many, ¿cuántos? Años, that's years. Tienes or tiene, so do you have? So ¿cuántos años tienes? Or ¿cuántos años tiene? Go ahead and say it, just to get that practice. ¿Cuántos años tienes? All right. So if we're going to be talking about our ages, we're going to need to know numbers, right? So so today we're going to just do the numbers the number 0 to 20. So we're going to start with 0 to 10. The word for 0 is cero or cero, which is pretty simple to remember. It's practically the same. And I think probably the majority of people know how to count to 10 in Spanish. It's something that we all kind of learned as children. So I'll just go through the numbers 1 to 10 just in case you need a little refresher. And that is, so go ahead and repeat them after me. So just for the sake of practice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, just the only couple of things, I mean, you probably know how to say that already. A couple of things I want to point out is El número cuatro, a lot of times I will see that being misspelled with a Q because it has that qua sound. But remember that the Q actually says ca in Spanish, so to make a qua sound, it's cu. So make sure you put that cu at the beginning of cuatro. And then for diez, a lot of times that people will spell that with an S at the end. That's not an S, it's a Z. So, or a zeta. So let's look at from 11 to 20, because I think these ones not everyone knows. So we'll take a look at those. So once, go ahead and repeat it after me. Once, doce, trece, catorce, quince, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. 20 is 20. All right, so I think that that for 11, 12, and 13, like 1, 2, and 3 is uno, dos, tres, while 11, 12, and 13 is once, doce, trece. So it's just adding an extra syllable there. And then catorce, that's probably the one that's going to be the easiest to forget, catorce. And then quince, I think in America now pretty much everyone's familiar with the quinceañera, the 15th birthday party of for Mexican girls. So if you remember that's their 15th birthday, well, it's quinceañera, 15 years. So just remember, that might help you remember quince. And then 16 through 19, those are just, if you look, diez y seis. E means and, so it's literally just the word 10 and 6 put together. So it's diez y seis, 10 and 6. Diez y siete, 10 and 7. Dieciocho, 10 and 8. Diecinueve, 10 and 9. So those shouldn't be too hard to remember either. And then 20, that's when that might be definitely a new word for a lot of you, and that's just 20, 20. So remember that one, 20. So here they all are. So the numbers 0 to 20. Say them out loud, count them to yourselves. We won't go through them again because I know counting can be pretty tedious. I think that I know it's a lot, but you probably already know 1 through 10, and also cero is the same. So that shouldn't be too difficult. So you probably already know that. And then 16 through 19 are just 10 and 6, 10 and 7, 10 and 8, 10 and 9. Dieciséis, diecisiete, dieciocho, diecinueve. So it's not really memorizing anything. It's just knowing that it's putting 10 and then the number after it. So you really just have to memorize 6 numbers. Once, doce, trece, catorce, quince, and then 20. So that's not that much. You can memorize 6. Okay, now that we know some numbers, we can talk a little bit more about ages, because if you don't know the numbers, it's not really a point. There's no point in talking about ages. So we'll say, let's try it. Ask me how old I am. So do you remember how to say it? Say it out loud. Did you say, ¿Cuántos años tienes? That's right. So, or you could say, ¿Cuántos años tiene? If you want to be formal. But as I mentioned once in one of my other videos, you don't have to be formal with me. We're buddies. So you can say tienes. And then I'll answer you. I would say, tengo 20 años, which that's not actually true. In reality, tengo 30 años, but we will learn that later. So, tengo 20 años. I have 20 years. All right. Telling your age. So now I'm going to ask you, ¿Cuántos años tienes? So respond out loud. ¿Cuántos años tienes? Did you say, tengo blank años? So tengo 15 años, tengo 16 años, tengo 19 años. So however many years you have, or however old you are. So when you look at the question, ¿Cuántos años tienes? Do you know which of those words, do you remember which one means how many? It's cuantos. Cuantos means how many. So how many years do you have? Okay, here's another question. So, ¿de dónde eres? So go ahead and tell me out loud. So respond, ¿de dónde eres? Did you say soy de and then a place? That's what you should have said. So soy de los Estados Unidos, soy de Inglaterra, soy de Washington, soy de Miami, soy de Chicago. So wherever you're from. Soy de, where and then wherever you're from. So let's see. Oh, I know which of those words is it means from. Do you remember which one means from? It's de. De means from. It's the preposition. All right. Y ahora, pregúntame a mí. So I asked you. Y ahora, pregúntame a mí. You ask me. Pregúntame a mí. So you ask me where I'm from. Did you say de dónde eres? That's what you should have said. ¿De dónde eres? And my response is, soy de San Luis, Missouri. So that's the truth. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. And like I mentioned before, like, look at Missouri. The spelling has been changed, but it's the same word. So Missouri. So maybe if you're from a state, you might want to look up how to spell it in Spanish just to be sure, because Missouri is spelled differently. Let's see. Okay, which word means you are? Do you know? Eres. Or if you want to be what would be the formal way of saying you are? It's es. So eres informal, es is formal. Okay, so we're gonna do some prácticas. Práctica de los números. So right now, for this point, I'm just going to show you a number. I want you to say it out loud, what it is. So the first one's already up there. So what number is that? 9. That's right. Next one. 3. Of course. Next one. 10. Next one. What is that one? 16. You see? 16. 16. And what's that number? Do you remember? 20. Okay, for the next one, I'm going to show you a number, and then I want you to tell me the following 3 numbers. So if I put up dos, then I want you to say out loud, 3, 4, 5. The next 3 numbers. So start right there. 0, the first 3. The next 3 are going to be 1, 2, 3, of course. Okay, 12. What's the next 3 numbers? It's 13, 14, 15. So say that. 13, 14, 15. Okay, what's the next 3 numbers? Did you say 18, 19, 20? Okay, what's the next 3 numbers? 5, 6, 7. And the last one, what's the next 3 numbers? 10, 11, 12. Okay, materiales adicionales, so your additional materials. I put a link in the description of the video, so just go ahead and click that link, and you can print out and complete a worksheet. It's not very long, and just kind of reinforce some of what we learned today. And hasta la próxima. So until next time. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I hope it helped you with some numbers and ages and places of origin. So if you liked it, go ahead and click like and share the video if you know of anyone that might find it useful too. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any lessons. And I'll just see you next time.